Hello, what's going on the other side of the screen? All right, so you actually sent me the same code as Lana, but it was an interesting thing trying to figure out which code I was looking at. But okay, so yeah, we're gonna be looking at Jax for this one. So hello, Jax. I'm sure you're the only one who's actually gonna be watching this. So I'm going to be going through this relatively quickly, all things considered. I want to keep it anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes so that you have just a brief gist of things to look at and start working on. I've already been watching you guys for the most part, so I kind of have a feel for some of the things that you might need to begin working on. But I want to use this to kind of like get more examples and clearly define the first things that we want to be working on. So unlike everybody else, actually, you're on a role I haven't really seen you on too much before. I've seen you play some Reaper. I think you tried out on DPS. And then wound up moving back to support. So I think I have some idea of how you play and some things that you might be able to resolve. And I watched you play largely through most of the scrims on Friday. But this might be a little bit longer because I don't know how much you're playing Tracer right now. I haven't seen you play Tracer yet. So yes, I may be quiet during some of this, but I'm generally just going to be looking to give you some key basic things to look at really quickly so that you can move into kind of like working on your own gameplay and then get into watching the longer team VODs, which I will also be working to try to make shorter. There's just a lot to go over in the team VODs, especially for you guys. So the first thing I'm looking at already is you look like you haven't actually been playing a lot on mouse and keyboard. You look a little bit uncomfortable with movement in general. I would say that in total, you look like you're about 50 hours into playing on mouse and keyboard. I don't know if you just got a PC, maybe you just don't play Tracer a ton, and you're not used to kind of like her teleporting ability. But I think one of the things that you're probably just going to need to start with is you just need to play more. I don't know what your level is right now in the game, so I don't know how much you've been actually like spending time playing Overwatch, but I also don't know if you play other games as well. So I can't actively say like, oh, I know for sure how much you've been playing. I just know that your movement looks very, very stiff, and like you aren't comfortable with kind of like turning and teleporting and stuff like that. So yeah, you're about actually 25 hours in maybe. Into just Overwatch. So, like I said, I don't know what else you've been playing or whatnot. Let me do high chat. My teammate was very angry in the last comp game I played. Okay, but that's just going to be something that, like, this is going to develop over time. Your ability to kind of, like, use your movement abilities fluidly with your turning and with your repositioning and kind of, like, you jumping around and doing random stuff while using movement abilities. The other thing that I want to look at here is you chasing your kills, right? So you actually do a great job of chunking this Reinhardt down, and it would have been really good for you to kind of continue pressuring him down either by shooting at this angle or blinking more aggressively into him to try to confirm the kill and then recall out. Regardless, though, there's two separate people here that you wind up having the ability to close out on, and you don't close out on either of them in the beginning. So the Reinhardt right there, and then you wind up like tapping the Lucio and seeing that he gets super low. So these are two picks that you have the opportunity of confirming for your team, and I think it's just your lack of maybe your lack of attentiveness to kind of like their health bars and your awareness of how low they are, or it could be just you just kind of like spraying and praying into the crowd. Either way, it seems like you have some core fundamentals that work well with your mechanic. Your kind of like seamless tracking when people are just moving left to right. Very fundamental things, catching them out of position to punish them and stuff like that. But like right here too, you kind of blink, but you don't really turn with your blinks. You're kind of just like blinking, realizing where you are, and then turning. I actually think all things considered for Tracer, you actually do a pretty good job of positioning yourself. I mean, Tracer's positioning, you can kind of be anywhere for the most part. This is fairly dangerous positioning, but like I'm not gonna really get on it too much right now. Like this is good for where you are right now. But chasing down those targets, being maybe a little bit more aggressive to get the kills, because your mechanics seem to be able to have it, and then your movement, like you blink here and you're still looking at the telephone booth, like, and then you turn. And your turn is a little bit slow. It looks like you're either actually still on controller or you need to put your sensitivity up. Here, as a side bit, let me see actually. You can be more patient with touching. You can let them get that second tick. Play it a little bit slower. Play for the full contest, not for, you know, just contesting the tick. Right here, if you just get out. Like your team isn't coming back, and if you don't have recall, just get out for now. You can always go back later. Not too worried about that. That was just kind of side conversation stuff about, you know, the game as a whole, theoretically. Like, you could just play for them capping that third tick. But to start, we're looking at really that movement, developing that movement by just getting you to play a little bit more, and then you confirming and hunting down kills, and actually, you know, like recognizing opportunities that you have. You know what? I actually don't even care about the rest that much. I'm not gonna lie, because I know the other things that I want to look at. I just want to see if this confirming kills thing is something that shows up like a bunch, or if it's just something that shows up sometimes. Because I did notice that on Reaper as well when I was watching you. I watched you on what was it? Gibraltar. Is like there was a few times where like you would hit somebody, you would see that they were half health, especially a tank, and you just wouldn't confirm the kill. Like you could have just invested in them, like blinked into them or whatever, and you just didn't. You definitely have the no fear of a DPS player. I'll say that much. Because there's a lot. So there's certain characteristics that tend to lean people towards one role or another. DPS are generally either the most competitive, most fearless, or most arrogant. Supports are usually a mix of like really good mechanics and really good game sense, but they're also usually kind of like passive, or they don't like to get directly into the fight. Like they're a little bit more scared of the engagement. And then tanks are usually people who can't aim, don't really care about getting much of the credit, and just like popping off every once in a while. Good reposition. Yeah, okay, so for the rest of this, you didn't really even get an opportunity, I think, to kind of chase down any real kills there, because you guys were just staggered and scattered for the most part. Okay, so let's just start with that for now. We'll look at it again next week, and I'll probably have different things to point out. So if you feel like that stuff that I'm giving you maybe isn't on point or isn't helping you grow in any sort of way, like you can DM me, but I'll be probably introducing new things every week. So if it doesn't work out for you this week, if you're working on it, if it doesn't work, definitely message me. Like if you're like, I don't get it, but I can see how it might help me, then message me. Or if you're like, no, I chased out my kills just fine, it was just a bad example, then, you know, we'll look at it next week. You let me know so that I can know. But we'll look at it next week. Oh, okay. I got scared as fuck for a second. Holy shit. Alright, anyway. See you in the team reviews.